besides being the legendary singer and songwriter of the old band The Beatles. Paul McCartney is a powerful man who has already achieved a great net worth. But have you ever stopped to wonder about just how this rock star lives? In this video you will find out all about the luxurious life of Paul McCartney. Before we get started, I challenge you. You have to click on subscribe and activate notifications, check the option all. But you have to do that in less than 5 seconds. You got it? And if you can, write in the comments #AllAboutSubscribe. Alright, let's get started. Career. Born in 1942 in Liverpool, England, Sir James Paul McCartney is a great singer and songwriter who rose to fame with the rock band The Beatles. During his youth, under the influence of his father, McCartney taught himself piano, guitar, and songwriting. His musical career began as a member of the Quarrymen in 1957 alongside John Lennon, a band that evolved into the Beatles in 1960. The band's first hit was Love Me Do, which quickly became quite popular in the UK. After that, the Beatles took off and entered rock history with the songs Let It Be, Here Comes the Sun, Hey Jude, Come Together, Don't Let Me Down, among others. But in the 70s, the group broke up and McCartney fell into depression, but his cure was to keep writing and singing solo, highlighting the hits 4 5 Seconds, Say, and Maybe I'm Amazed. With this trajectory of success, Paul McCartney established himself as one of the most relevant singers of his generation, which even today moves crowds. It's no wonder that he has received numerous awards throughout his career, such as 18 Grammys and 8 Brit Awards. And it is for all this relevance in music that the artist has earned great wealth, being able to enjoy a very comfortable life. Estates in England. With Paul McCartney's professional success, the artist can invest and maintain a large real estate portfolio. So, let's take a look back at some of the properties he has lived in. From 1955 until the early 1960s, when he was between the ages of 13 and 22, McCartney lived in a 2-story row house. It was there that he and his Beatles bandmate John Lennon wrote many of the songs that became some of the band's biggest hits. 5 years later, the singer bought a 3-story property in St. John's Wood, London. The venue was even where Paul held the reception for his wedding to Nancy Shevell. At the time, he paid £40,000 on the house, but recently, a neighboring property went on sale for £16,500,000, suggesting that since then the value of the area has skyrocketed. Currently, the singer still owns a few properties located in England, including his giant 150-acre estate called Blossomwood Farm, located in the village of Peasmarsh in East Sussex County. Farm in Scotland. When he was married to Linda McCartney, Paul lived a good portion of his life with his family at High Park Farm, Kintyre, Scotland. Purchased in 1966, the property was a quiet, peaceful retreat for the singer to raise his family, away from the highlights. Leading a very simple life on this property that kept expanding until reaching over 1,000 acres of land, the artist enjoyed raising many animals, and it was during this time that he developed his support of veganism. However, after the unfortunate death of his wife Linda in 1998, Paul began to greatly reduce his visits to this amazing country estate. Properties in California. Paul McCartney, besides liking the simplicity of country life, also likes comfort. He once had a 2-acre estate including a French-style home located in Hollywood Hills, California. Built in 1930, the 4,700-square-foot residence cost $4 million out of Paul's pockets at the time of purchase, but today the property is probably worth double that amount. In this same region, many sources speculate that the artist once lived in an incredible mansion that was also home to other celebrities, such as Madonna. Built in the early 1940s, the 15,000-square-foot residence sits on a lot of nearly 1.5 acres. The architectural landscape features a vast wooded backyard involving lush gardens, stone walkways, and beautiful views. The main door opens into the hallway, which leads into a cozy living room with a grand piano, and ceilings with the visible wood structures that provide a rustic design. The main house is spacious and offers 2 master suites and 3 family bedrooms, as well as 3 bathrooms and 7 sinks. For entertainment, the property offers a movie theater with a huge screen, a 2-lane vintage bowling alley, a complete game room, a well-illuminated tennis court, and an area for practicing golf. In order to have fun on the warmer days, there is a swimming pool and a spa available to the residents. Still outside, there is an elegant and imposing dining area, with its stone patio and impressive Roman-inspired columns, creating a heavenly ambience reminiscent of a luxury hotel. In addition, there is a guest house with 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms in order to accommodate visitors in comfort. It is not known for sure if Paul McCartney bought or rented this beautiful property, but what is known is that the rent is $100,000 and the house is worth approximately $23 million. Penthouse in New York. Paul McCartney also once owned a triplex apartment located on Manhattan's prime 5th Avenue, overlooking Central Park. The 3,500 square foot residence is filled with floor-to-ceiling windows, which allows for lush landscaping. The apartment has a classic and retro architecture and features colorful wallpapers, plus lots of wooden furniture. The area is spread over 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. It is known that McCartney bought this property in 2015 for $15,500,000, but after holding onto the property for quite a while, he ended up selling it at a loss. Cars. With a huge net worth amassed by Paul McCartney, it's no surprise to anyone that he has spent quite a bit of money on classic and rare vehicles. Some of the cars that have gone through the singer's garage are a $30,000 Ford Consul Classic 315, a $33,000 Ford Bronco 198, a $35,000 Land Rover Series I-86 station wagon from 1955-inch, his favorite, a $37,000 Chevrolet C5 Corvette, a $65,000 1973 Rolls-Royce Corniche, a $85,000 Austin Healey 3000 from 1966, a $130,000 Lexus LS600H, a $180,000 Lamborghini S2 Espada 1972, a Mini Cooper from 1965 that was auctioned off for $235,000. Raising the values up even higher, Paul McCartney owned a historic Lamborghini 400 GT from 1967 that was sold off at auction for $400,000. But, without a doubt, the most iconic car that passed through the singer's garage was his Aston Martin DB5 from 1964, and it was inside this car that Paul wrote the song Hey Jude. To give you an idea of how precious this car is, it sold at an auction in 2017 for an impressive $1,300,000. Luxuries. Beatles star Paul McCartney is usually a simple man who doesn't care much for an extravagant life. But of course, the singer can sometimes afford to spend his money on superfluous things. He always makes a point of attending interviews and events very well dressed, and to complement his looks, Paul owns a designer watch. The model in question is a Patek Philippe Aquanaut, a sporty design accessory with a rubber bracelet, having only 1,000 limited units produced, which justifies its marked up price of $80,000. And it seems that the singer really likes this watch model, because he has another one with a green dial. Something McCartney also doesn't mind spending a lot of money on is chartered jets. The rock legend almost never travels on commercial planes. After all, he likes comfort and privacy. To get an idea of prices, depending on the model and size of the jet chosen, 1 hour of flight can cost up to $20,000. Personal life. From the Beatles' passionate songs, you can imagine that McCartney's love life was always pretty eventful. So, let's take a timeline of his most memorable relationships. The singer had a 3-year relationship with Roan and even bought her a gold ring in order to get married, because she had gotten pregnant in 1960. However, she had a miscarriage, and as Paul was only 20 years old, he didn't want to get married so soon, so the relationship ended in 1962. He also had a brief relationship with Thelma Pickles, who had previously dated Lennon. After that, he fell in love with Isis Caldwell, who had also been the girlfriend of guitarist George Harrison. In London, McCartney had a 5-year relationship with actress Jane Asher after they met in 1963. They lived together for 3 years, and his beloved inspired him to write songs such as And I Love Her, You Won't See Me, and I'm Looking Through You. In late 1967, they announced their engagement, but split up the following year after the young woman caught the singer cheating. Officially, Paul has been married 3 times. His first wife was the photographer Linda Eastman, who seemed to be the true love of his life. They met in 1967, married 2 years later, and had 3 children. until they were forced apart by Linda's unfortunate death from breast cancer in 1998. His second wife was Heather Mills, with whom he had his daughter Beatrice in 2003. But 3 years later the singer filed for divorce, awarding Mills a settlement of £24,300,000, the equivalent of about $38,500,000. In November 2007, McCartney began dating Nancy Shevell, and they decided to marry in 2011. She was the inspiration for the song My Valentine. Charity. Paul McCartney is a man with a big heart who doesn't skimp out on donations. In 2020, for example, he supported 45 charities, some of which include Adopt a Minefield, Cruelty Free International, Everyone Matters, Greenpeace, St. Francis Food Pantries and Shelters. According to Forbes, McCartney has given over $1 million to PETA alone. He has also raised money by doing charity shows, as was the One World, Together at Home performance, done in order to raise funds to help with the results of social isolation, raising $127 million. Another charity concert supported the Teenage Cancer Trust, in which he raised $382 million for the organization. For sure, these figures are impressive. Net worth. Many people wonder about the magnitude of the net worth of one of the most famous musicians in the world. No doubt Paul McCartney is among the richest rock stars in history. After all, he's had over 60 years of a thunderous career, selling millions of records and gathering crowds at concerts. While still a member of the Beatles, the artist achieved 6 gold records and sold over 100 million singles. In the years that he tours extensively, Paul easily earns $70 million on his own. To give you an idea, the Beatles co-founder has grossed just over $100 million from solo shows in 2019, according to Forbes magazine. But in addition to that source of income, he earns tens of millions a year in royalties and licensing fees. These fees are earned both from his own music and from a valuable portfolio of other artists' royalties through his record label, MPL Communications. This company holds the copyright to songs by singers like Buddy Holly, Carl Perkins, and many others. Not to mention the money he has already received for the various films and documentaries about the trajectory of the Beatles and his life. Currently, at the age of 80, Paul McCartney has an estimated net worth of $1,280 million and is considered the richest musician in the world. Hey, you like the video? So don't forget about leave your like and comment, and tell some suggestions of another videos, and hopefully we gonna do it. All about channel Dios to satisfy your curiosity.